What's up, guys? We are back again, and we are finally going to be discussing the Resident Evil series. Um, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. If you enjoyed this, great. If you didn't, okay, fine. But at the same time, there is a lot to say about this show. And I will say first off, there are things I like about this. There are things I do not like about this. I don't know what it is with anybody that creates Resident Evil. They either get the casting wrong, they want to either do something that makes no sense, or they want to put their own little spin on it and then try to have it work, and then, or not have it based on the video games. Now, I know, let's just get the elephant out the room. Lance Reddick as Albert Wesker, not the best casting choice in my opinion. But I will say I enjoyed him in this role, and the only reason why I enjoyed him in this role is because he's a good actor. That's the main reason, is because he was a good actor. And the entirety of this show so far, if they continue, is you have him playing Albert Wesker, who goes to New Raccoon City. And this ain't the Albert Wesker that we know from the video games. He gets brought up and gets shown, but it looks weird. It's like if you put Blade in at like Albert Wesker, if that makes sense, just twist the roles. Because the whole time you have Albert Wesker, who has his daughters Billy and Jade, who go to New Raccoon City. He is a scientist. They're trying to build a drug by the name of Joy to get rid of all kinds of symptoms, depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. And Jade, her being, I would say, the bitch character. You got Billy, who's kind of the shy, crazy, I would say almost like mentally challenged, not mentally challenged, but mentally disturbed type of a character. And it goes back and forth from the past to the present, which you have older Jade, who is a scientist, and she's trying to figure out a way to coexist with zombies and all these other monsters that Umbrella / the T-Virus and other viruses created, right? So you have two stories colliding into one, which is kind of interesting and good, but at the same time, it does confuse you if you really don't know what's going on. If you're not paying attention, you will miss a second and you will not know what the hell's going on. Because in the future, you have, and again, spoilers, you have where Jade has a daughter. She has been running from Umbrella for very long. She's like the number one on their list. And she's trying to find a way to see Zeros, aka the first zombies, to see if they will evolve. And she's not sure how they evolve, but if they will evolve. And what happens is she goes on the run, and then later figures out that her sister Billy is still alive, and she's pretty much running Umbrella, and she's just cold-hearted, and she is using the same methods that their father did as well when they were younger, which I'll get to in a minute. And she is taking over the Umbrella Corporation, and the one Evelyn, who was the head of it in a way when they were younger, is still there. Now, I will say, which is interesting, is they are not really Albert's daughters. They are more, they were implanted with his DNA as well as other parents that got into their eggs, and they made them, they basically became science experiments to where he has to use their blood to survive, because we found out this is not the actual Albert Wesker, this is a clone. There was 3 clones of the real Albert Wesker when it was shown in Resident Evil, and it does get brought up that, hey, he died in a volcano, which, is a reference to Resident Evil 5, and again, the show itself, I will say, for the casting, from having like a younger Billy or Jade to an older Jade or Billy, I will say that was actually decent casting for them doing that. But at the same time, was these precise characters needed? That's to be decided, because it just didn't feel, it just felt like that they kind of came something up and it just didn't fit. Did I enjoy this? There was a lot of cringe moments, and I felt like they put a lot of woke crap in here, but then they try to go back to what Resident Evil stood for and stands for, and then they just go right back to it, and they put a lot of characters and a lot of actors in here that just don't fit. And when I say it don't fit the lore, it don't fit for the accuracy of a character we already know, and then bringing in other characters that either have no reference, but their character's hurting due to another character you replaced by race swapping or by gender swapping, and it doesn't make sense. And I hate when Hollywood does that just to fit the narrative of the SJW woke bullshit that is in Hollywood nowadays. And this series has a lot of potential. Now, will it be able to be better? Again, that's to be decided, because I just feel like that every time that, Resident Evil does something, it just bombs. And I feel like that's what happened. Because you see the growing bond between these two sisters when they're younger, and it starts breaking, and you see it's just now, beyond possible repair now with them being adults. And with the way it ends with Billy taking technically her niece from Jade, which was kind of weird because the daughter seemed very like she wouldn't listen, and again, that normally happens in these movies and series. And at the same time, with Jade being the way she is, very headstrong, very intolerable, she doesn't really want to listen to nobody. And then Billy, almost being the same way. So again, it's not like they didn't have a good premises to go with. It's just I feel like that they couldn't decide what they were wanting to do with this series, which again I feel the exact same way. It's one of those, I enjoyed it but I didn't enjoy it, if that makes any sense, because I felt this wasn't Resident Evil in a way, but in a way it was. I mean, yes, we saw lickers, we saw the zombie dogs, we saw zombies, we saw like the zombified alligator or crocodile in there, and that was kind of weird with the way they did it. And then same thing with the with one of the bugs in there, and then also the spiders that was in there as well. So there's a lot of elements that they try to put from the games into this series, and kind of go, well, the original Raccoon City, and it's like they're mentioning it, but they're trying to make the characters older that we already know and introduce these other characters, but they are screwing up the premises of what the original characters looked like, acted like, and what they did. So that's the reason why I think a lot of people are having problems with this series, because honestly, I thought there was going to be people saying, oh, you're being too hard on the series, or people are trying to defend it. There is barely anyone, from what I'm seeing in the fandom, that is actually defending this series. That is bad. And I thought the recent movie that came out on Netflix was bad. I thought that the movie that they came out with was absolutely terrible, and that this series was either going to be as bad, but they're trying to say this is worse. Honestly, I don't know. I think that the movie is a lot worse because they decided to shit on more characters than what they initially did with this character. But trying to not only race swap, but also trying to change the premises of a character that we have known for years only to fit Hollywood's narrative is wrong. You need to have a character that looks like a character and just leave it alone. Now, honestly, one of the best characters, and honestly, guys, if you do not know this, if I don't even know what to say. If you had, okay, let me explain something to you guys real quick, okay? If you would have had Resident Evil Raccoon City, and you would have taken the one that played in there, and anyone knows what I'm talking about, you should at this point, because you had Tom Hopper as Albert Wesker. Honestly, that was hard to see, but at the same time, if you would have had anybody else, if you would have had the one that played Damien Dark in Arrow, if you would have had him, and I'm trying to think of the actor's name, because he would have been perfect for Albert Wesker. If you would have had Neil McDonough as Albert Wesker, that would have been a done deal. Done deal. He'd been he has this mentality, and I've seen this because he always plays a bad part. Always in movies and television. He's able to pull, like he did in Arrow and Legends, to be not only as a villain, but a caring father that knows he made mistakes, but at the same time, he wants that redemption. And that would have been perfect for Albert Wesker with this version of him, like the clone version of him. That would have made it perfect in my opinion. But are we going to get season 2? There is no guarantee. What do you guys think about this? You guys hate it, love it? Let me know what you think about it down in the comments down below. Again, I'm only saying what's actually true and what a lot of people are saying as well. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not saying this, I'm not saying that. But again, same thing. It's like if we took Blade as being if we got a white guy to play Blade, that's screwed up. Or we got a white guy to play Black Panther. Again, that's screwed up. Again, I'm not saying this actor is bad. He did very well with the role he was given and trying to make it his own, but it was very hard to see him as Albert Wesker. It was extremely hard. And then you have these other two characters that you have the young versions of them, then you have the older versions of them, and it just gets very climactic where you don't know exactly what's going on and you're trying to pay attention. And there's a lot of cringy moments, especially with the younger, I would say the younger crowd, to where especially with all these kids, and they want to put a lot of other things into the show that is really no reason to. Like they're wanting to have where they want to teach Jay's daughter literature and ballet and all this other kind of crap, where it's like, okay, you have the end of the world going on and you want to teach kids this. There are things more important than this. Yes, you need to preserve history, but at the same time, there needs to be a lot more than that. That's just my opinion. But again, guys, what do you think about the series? Was it bad? Was it good? Let me know down in the comments down below. If you guys are new to the channel, it's about subscribing. Leave a big fat like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. I'd really like to know. I know the fandom is probably in uproar right now with this series, but either way, let me know. Hopefully it can get better or it'll get canceled. I don't know. But either way, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you soon.